Lesson 7. Hi, my name is Will Lawson, and I teach saxophone at Music Showcase in Brandon, Florida. And I'll put all those details in the description box underneath. We have been working on the Rubank elementary method. Probably seen that. We are at Lesson 7. Lesson 7 is the tie and dotted half notes. So we're going to explain to you what the tie does. The tie is a curved line that's between two notes. What the tie does, the tie looks like another thing that we're going to do later called a slur, but they have different purposes. And we're going to talk about dotted notes, like dotted half notes, and what the dot does for a note. First of all, if you look at Lesson 7, you'll see that there's a whole note tied to a quarter note that's in the next measure. We are in 4/4 time. The maximum number of beats or counts that can be in any measure is 4, right? Right? Let's see if I can get this focused up. That's wrong way. There you go. Right? It's 4. So if the composer, if the writer wants five counts of a note, then he's got to get that fifth count from the next measure, right? So you can tie note values together. So if you have a whole note over here and you physically tie it to the whole note, the quarter note to the whole note, now you have, instead of a 4 count note, you have a 5 count note. Ties, all they do is they combine note values. If you have a quarter note and a half note in 4/4 time, and you tie them together, now you have 3 counts, right? So you have tied notes. It's just for the convenience of the composer, so they can have notes that last pretty much as long as they want them to last by simply tying them to previous notes, so they can last for as long as they want them to last, outside of the constraints of the time signature. Understood? Cool. All right, so we're going to do Lesson 7, number 1, which we have basically whole notes tied to quarter notes. Whole notes, they get 4 counts, tied to quarter notes, they get 1 count, for a total of 5 counts. Here we go. Lesson number 1, exercise 1, Lesson 7. 1, 2, ready? Get it? No problems. I even was able to count with my right hand because I wasn't using it on some of those notes. Now, in the second exercise on Lesson 7, they've got what we talked about a second ago. They've got half notes tied to quarter notes. Half notes tied to quarter notes. Now, in 4/4 time, remember that a half note gets 2 counts and a quarter note gets 1. So if we take our half note and we tie a quarter note to it, now we get 3. Okay? Here we go. Exercise number 2, Lesson 7. 1, 2, ready? Easy. All right, now we're going to talk about dotted notes. Dotted notes was something else that the copyists came up with because it was easier to do. It was easier to watch. It was easier to see. It was easier. So we're going to take a short edit, and then I'll meet you over at the whiteboard. Hi, we're back at the whiteboard. Now, we just played a phrase that had a half note and a quarter note that are tied together. So in 4/4 time, this half note gets 2 counts, this quarter note gets 1 count, so together they get 3 counts. You see, the tie does this for you. Now, the copyists, instead of writing all these lines everywhere, which could get confusing, they take up more ink and make it get confusing, came up with another system entirely. Now hang on here because this is very, very important. They came up with the dot. I don't even know if you can see that. Let me see. Let me make sure you can see that. Oh, look, the dot. Now, what's the dot do? The dot, there you go. You can see that a little better. Now, you want to write this down. You might want to stop the video, rewind it, and hear me carefully here. The dot adds half of the note's normal value. The dot adds half of the note's normal value to it. Let me give you an example. Let me give you the half note example. The half note in 4/4 receives 2 counts. Right? You remember? Let me raise this up so you can see that. I'm sorry. Well, maybe I can raise this up. Hang on. There we go. The half note, there we go. The half note in 4/4 time receives 2 counts. Right? If we put a dot here, that adds half of the note's normal value. So let's do a little bit of arithmetic. What's half of 2? Well, 1 is half of 2. And 2 plus 1 equals 3. So this is the very same thing in 4/4 time as this. This equals this. This gets 3 counts, and so does this. This was easier, faster, and there was less confusion on if this was a slur, then obviously that's not. So that's why we have dotted notes. Again, this is really important that you get this. But this dot, let me turn the camera so you can see me. I'm sorry I'm so close. Adds half of the note's normal value. If a note normally gets 2 counts, then half of 2 is 1, so now the note gets 3 counts. If a note normally gets 1 count, half of 1 is 1/2, and now the note gets 1.5 counts. Does it make sense? That's really important. And I took this break in the middle of this lesson because this is what this lesson is trying to teach. And we're going to get into dotted notes moving forward fairly quickly. All right, so I'll meet you. So I'm going to show you this one more time. Explain this one more time. Let's see if I can get the camera in the right place. There we go. This dot adds half of the note's normal value. This note, this half note in 4/4 time normally gets 2 counts. If we add the dot to it, half of 2 is 1. 2 plus 1 is 3. Now this note by itself gets 3 counts. It is the same as having a half note tied to a quarter note. All right, we're going to see you back over at the book. so now we're going to continue lesson 7 with number 3. Now if you look at number 3, you'll see over the first note you have a half note tied to a quarter note, just like we just did on the board, because that equals 3 counts, just like the dotted half note equals 3 counts. So we're going to play number 3 on lesson 7. Here we go. 1, 2, ready? Ni, di, 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 di. You get the feeling? 3 counts, then 1 count. Now, in number 4, they didn't put the little reminder over the top. You just have to remember that, and you will, and you will. You'll remember just instinctively that a dotted half note in 4/4 time gives 3 counts. You will just remember that. Trust me. All right, so we're going to do number 4. So 2-liner. We're going to try to breathe every 4 measures. And they've got a rest in there for us to breathe on. Super. Here we go. Number 4, lesson 7 from the Rubank Elementary book. 1, 2, ready, go. That's all there is to it. Just remember that the dot adds, say it with me, half of the note's normal value. Half of the note's normal value. That's what the dot does when it's beside the note that way. All right, so we're going to do number 5. A mismatch of dotted half notes, quarter notes, and a quarter rest. Our goal is to get to 4 measures, 16 counts. Hope I can do it. Here we go. 1, 2, ready? Easy enough. And if you have trouble keeping up with me, that's okay. Pause the video, go back, play it slowly until you work up to this tempo. Okay, don't get frustrated and don't just continue. Stop, pause the video, go back, work on the exercise, make sure that your fingers are in the right place and all that kind of stuff, and you'll be fine. All right, here's the duet. Now there's something special about the duet. What's special about the duet is that we've been playing in the key of F. And if you'll go back to the video, and I finally did it, so it should be up there, about key signatures, what you know when I say the key of F is that there is 1 flat in the key, or there's 1 flat in the song, and that flat in the key of F is B flat. Now, in this particular exercise in number 6, they actually revert back to a B natural for a couple of notes in the top part. So you'll see that sign, that's the natural sign. Hopefully I can put it on the screen If not, I'm sorry. If it doesn't show up right here around my head, I'm sorry. I don't have that kind of skill yet, but maybe soon. So you will see the natural sign. Now what you need to know about accidentals, there is an accidental rule. Rule. That in a measure where there's an accidental, that means that there's a sharp or a flat or a natural sign that changes the key signature. That accidental has reign and rule throughout that entire measure unless acted upon by another accidental of the same note. So in this particular instance, we have a B natural, and there's two B's in a row, so the second note is also B natural. Now we're going to go back. I'll go back and through this and work this with you, so you'll hear it and you'll see it. So here we go. We're going to do the top of the duet, and then I'll talk about the B natural, and then I'll do the bottom while you play the top. Here we go. Number 6, lesson 7. 1, 2, ready? Okay, now in measure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's an A and 2 B naturals. It should sound like exactly, I'm going to play it like this. Now, and when I get done with this, I'm going to go to the bottom part and play the bottom part so you can play the top part. But here we go. That measure number 5, has an A natural and 2 B naturals. You hear how that's different than the B flat? There's a B flat, here's a B natural. B flat, natural, and again, remember the accidental rule. Because of the accidental rule, both of those notes are B natural. Now what negates that again is the bar line. After that bar line, everything returns back to the key signature. Got it? Okay. Now we're going to start on the bottom part while you play the top part. Here we go. Lesson 6. 1, 2, ready, go. How'd it go? Did you get the B naturals? Try it again if you didn't get the B naturals. Cool. Alright, we're going to go on to lesson 8. So we'll see you in the next video. Thanks so much.